All right, welcome to the fifth episode. Wow. No, not fifth, fourth, my bad. But we'll get there of this little thing. And I'm here with the one and only Miss Caroline Groth.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here with you today.
Well, I guess, would you like to introduce yourself?
I would love to. Hello, all listeners. My name is Caroline Groth. I'm currently serving as the National FFA Eastern Region Vice President. I'm a former Locust Trace FFA member, former Kentucky State officer. I currently live in Lexington, Kentucky. I guess live is kind of
Yeah.
don't really live anywhere right now. We travel for a year as national officers. About 300 days of the year are spent on the road, visiting with members, going to state conventions, doing stakeholder visits, and it's been a really fun year. But I'd love to talk more about my background as we dive into the interview. But that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. And this is so I only really have two questions that I kind of have like scripted out, and it's always going to be the first one. That is, did you think at all that you were going to be where you are right now? Did you think that when you were younger, going to middle school, that you would go to Locust Trace, become a state officer, and then get elected into national office?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the answer is absolutely not. Never in a million years did I think I would be a chapter officer, let alone a state officer or a national officer. To give a little bit more background, I did not have an FFA program at my middle school. So I went to SCAPA, which is School for the Creative and Performing Arts. And I was in orchestra and I loved it, but it wasn't really my people. But when I was 9 years old, I started showing lambs, and I met Miss Myers, one of the former Locust Trace ag teachers at the county fair, and she told me that I had to come to Locust Trace and join FFA. And so I'm really glad that I listened to her because my freshman year of high school, I was just hooked. I loved FFA. I did freed speaking, junior parley, all the contests I could do as a freshman, and continued to kind of do that all throughout my high school career. My favorite contests were parley, parliamentary procedure, and prepared public speaking. Loved both of those contests. But I was fortunate enough to get to serve as a Locust Trace chapter officer my junior and senior year. I was vice president for both of those years. And I won't lie, Connor, I was a little disappointed not to be president my senior year of high school. But I really think like it was meant to be because that second year serving as vice president for the chapter, I learned about humble leadership, how being a leader isn't about your title or what's on your jacket. It's really about how you can best serve people and how you make people feel. And honestly, I don't think that I think that if I hadn't have had that experience, I don't know if I would be where I am today. And I know I'm getting a little long-winded, but I want to tell a little story about Miss Myers. After not getting elected to chapter president, she sat me down in my car and said, Caroline, this isn't the end of your story. This is just another chapter in your book. You're going to learn from this, you're going to grow from this, and you're going to be better because of it. Um, and senior year, Caroline did not believe her, but I'm really glad she was right. And that I didn't give up on FFA then, because if I had, I definitely wouldn't be here, but I did not get here on my own. Um, I'm just a product of all the people that poured into me. That's other Locust Trace FFA members. That's the wonderful ag teachers at Locust Trace. That's Kentucky FFA state staff, and now national staff. People at my church. People have really poured into me, and that's how I've gotten here.
Yeah, and I guess it's really, really cool to have someone that is a national officer being someone that I know
Mhm.
before, like
Yeah.
someone not only that I knew before, but someone who goes to these who is from the exact same chapter as me and from the exact same area.
Yes. It's wild, and I just told somebody the other day, I was like, "I don't think I'll even realize that I was a national officer until the year is long over." Because sometimes I don't realize how crazy it is, and I still wake up every day and I'm just, blessed that this is the life that I get to live.
Yeah, and just it's always one of the most important things to me, at least, is always like having more urban involvement in agriculture because it's so important. And then to see someone from an urban environment, from an urban chapter, be at one of the highest places they can possibly be in FFA just makes my little heart happy because that's because it's important. It's important for
Yes.
people to get involved in agriculture, even if it's not just FFA. As much as I would like that to be true, but like people just like getting involved at all in agriculture, at least having some bit of like respect or understanding of it. So like understanding that your food doesn't teleport from God knows where onto your plate, and it's actually like there's a whole process.
Yes. That is so true, and I think that's something really cool I've gotten to witness this year, is I've gotten to be in urban schools, schools like Locust Trace, and I've gotten to be in really rural schools, the opposite of Locust Trace. And what's so neat about FFA is that there's a place in FFA for every single one of those students, whether they come from an urban background like you and me, or whether they come from a small, tiny town that doesn't even have a Dollar General. And FFA's got a place for all of those students.
And that's the magic of FFA, that it's for everyone. It's there's a reason why we changed the name from Future Farmers of America in 1988, right? It's
Yes.
there because it's not just farming. It's more than that. It's everything to do with agriculture, which is a lot.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
you're exactly right.
yeah, and I think also just locust trace as an idea is something that I think not put into place like exactly everywhere because not all cities can really sustain a school like that. We have
Mhm.
we got so lucky and so blessed with the fact that um we kind of live in an area where there is a lot of free land to use because we live in a place with a lot of agriculture background like horses, horse farms and raising and showing them. So we kind of got lucky, but I think at least like not even having a school dedicated to it, but like having a greenhouse or having a little garden and like and a lot of schools could just make so much of an impact on so many people's lives as it can create like an appreciation for agriculture that not many will get unless they, take it.
Yes, that is so true.
So, how did you get into lamb showing? Is it just kind of a thing that you just started to do, or
Yeah, we'll take a trip down memory lane here. So the whole lamb thing started actually way before I was even born. Um, my papa was a Lutheran pastor at a church in Lexington, and there was a guy at his church that raised lambs. And this guy had a bottle lamb that he did not want to take care of. And so he sent it home with my dad. And so my dad raised lambs in his garage, these bottle lambs in his garage, which my grandparents were maybe not the biggest fans of, but my dad quickly got hooked to the whole raising sheep and showing lambs. So he did that through middle and high school. And after he married my mom, he was like, we need to get land and our kids need to show lambs. And so back in 2014, I moved onto a farm with my family. I have three siblings. We all showed. But 2014, we moved to a farm. 2015, we bought our first three ewes, Millie, Jane, and Esther. Those were our first three ewes that we ever purchased. And then really in middle school and high school, I like to say that my SAE, my supervised agriculture experience, was a 4-H project gone wild because I started in 4-H with 3 ewes. And Connor, I ended my senior year of high school with over 50 sheep. Yes, quite a lot, quite a lot. But I loved it. It's what got me first involved in agriculture, taught me so many life skills from work ethic to the idea of serving something beyond myself. There were lots of nights in high school when my friends would be having a sleepover or hanging out, and I would have to come home first because I had living things. I had sheep who were depending on me for food and water. So taught me a lot of responsibility. But that's how I kind of got into showing lambs. And my future kids will show sheep. So just like my dad, I want my future kids to show lambs.
It's this like little family tradition, which I think that's really cool. Just like,
Hmm.
and that's also ties into another cool thing is that a lot of people in FFA that I've at least met, they know someone who they look up to who was also in FFA. So someone they might know or be related to did FFA, and I think that's so cool that like even if they might not have been the most involved, that like it's such a widespread thing that most people know someone who's involved with it.
Yeah, that's 100% right. And for me, my dad was actually never in FFA. I'm the first generation FFA member in my family, and hopefully my little sister will be the second. But you're right. I've had so many people in FFA that I have looked up to. I can remember freshman year, the chapter officers at Locust Race really brought me in. My first ever national convention, I barely got to go, but they had an extra spot, so they had this little freshman come with them, and it was the best time. But yeah, looking up to people is very important. I think FFA kind of instills that culture.
Just yeah, and just having that like role model for people to look up to,
Hmm.
because you never know if you're a role model for someone or not. And I think it's cool that like it's instilled as just a part of FFA culture and that entire idea that like everyone's a role model in some shape or form. Everyone
Yes.
is, and everyone looks up to one another, and I everyone builds each other up, if
Hmm.
that makes sense.
No,
Like
that's true.
everyone, it's a rising tide raises all ships, as a common little phrase of that.
Yes, I love that. I love that.
And I think that's just pretty cool. And what did you intend to go to Locust Trace for?
Mm. Yes, so I intended to go to Locust Trace for veterinary science, and I did. That was my pathway, start to finish. I did vet science, did the whole course, but then I learned about all these other pathways. So I took greenhouse classes with Mr. Bustle. I did aquaculture classes with Miss Thompson. I did food science classes with Mr. Ashcraft. Um, so I did vet science, but I also did every other class that I
Everything.
could. And I know now also that I will not be a vet. So I went to Locust Trace my freshman year thinking that was the dream job. I wanted to be a vet. And now I'm going to be a sophomore in college after I retire from national office, and I still don't know what I want to do. And I think that's okay. I think that's exciting. And this year I've gotten to get exposed to so many careers in agriculture that I never even knew existed. And now I just get to go on the exciting adventure of which career I want to go into. So we'll see.
We'll see.
Yes.
Whatever you do, I'm sure you'll be good at it.
Thank you.
You just I remember I was in one of your workshops when you were still I think you were either a regional officer. Yeah, I think it was when you were still in regional office and you were it was at Locust Trace. I was in 7th grade and you were talking about something to find something about like your passion.
Mhm.
And actually, in my wallet, you passed out these like little flowers, and I still have it. If you can see that little sunflower.
Yes. Yeah, that was from I think like a confidence workshop that I
Hmm.
did, and I passed out all those little flowers. That's so special that you still have that.
Yeah, because I I kind of thought about like this way that once after this workshop, as long as I have this with me, I'm always going to be confident. I'm always going to have confidence in myself. Whenever I do an FFA event, I'm not going to be nervous when I go up there and speaking, junior parliamentary procedure, doing the opening ceremony. I'm never going to be nervous because I learned how not to be nervous.
Yeah,
And this just lives in my wallet now, and I take this wherever I go for FFA events. It's kind of been a little specialty of mine, and
oh,
that's
that's so
just
sweet.
and yeah, it's just like you you people above us and the people who are officers, even though they may never realize it, they make such an impact on all of the people they talk to, everyone they shake hands with, everyone that they may just say hi to in the hallway on the way to
Mhm.
whatever they're doing, can make such an impact on someone else's life. Like
Yeah.
I met that at the Kentucky leadership camp, of which I'm sure
Yes.
you're familiar, and
Yes.
he was there, and it kind of took me by surprise because he wasn't like he didn't seem like the president of National FFA. He was just walking with his little polo on the first day, said hi to me, and I didn't
Mhm.
even realize it. And
Yeah,
that's so cool that these people that we all look up to, that we all are like in November, well, late October, we'll see on the stage doing these like presentations in front of thousands of people, but they're still human,
that's right.
and
That's
they all came
exactly right.
and they all came from somewhere. And
Yes.
you came from Lexington, Kentucky. Our chapter officers came from Lexington, Kentucky, but state officers like Aiden Manley, he's I forgot what county it is, but
Menifee. Menifee
Menifee.
County.
I know it's started with an M.
Yes.
He's from Menifee County,
Mhm.
and Michaela, Anna, just all of them
Yeah,
have made like I've got to talk to them, got to know them, have made such an impact on all those that they have talked to, and I think that's really special, and why I think this will probably be one of my favorite just state officer teams and national officer teams, just because I think it is so cool that I never felt intimidated. I never had to use the little flower. I
yeah.
always had confidence talking to you guys because you're all so down to earth.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that, and I'll have to pass that along to Thad and the state officer team because I think that's something I don't know, we really try to do maybe is like we never want it to feel like we're up on this pedestal because we're not. You're right. We're human and we all came from humble beginnings just like everybody else. Like we're
Yeah,
no different. There's just something else written right here on our jackets. So
yeah, and maybe like a few little more little medals under the name, but
maybe a couple.
maybe a couple. Maybe there's a little
Oh,
chain dangling on the right side. Maybe.
yes, yes. But hey, you can get there too.
Yeah,
You can get there too.
and that's pretty cool that you guys are just so down to earth and just willing to understand that you make mistakes. Like Aiden was talking about like how one time that he accidentally got really mad during a basketball practice, but and he was talking about like how after he felt horrible about it, and then he went
hmm
up and was able and felt bad, but went in to apologize, and I think that's not a very, I guess, common skill. And seeing that everyone that I have met in FFA, everyone that I have gone to shake hands with, are so human, and I it's pretty amazing. Like Dr. Park, I got to talk
Yes.
to him. Such a fun and interesting guy to talk to. I just these people are gonna make an impact on my life.
Oh,
M- It's gonna make an impact on my life one way or another. I'm gonna
yes.
I'm gonna be in my old man rocking chair telling my grandchildren like these weird blue jacket cult people who made a profound impact on my life.
Yeah. No, it is crazy the way that FFA impacts our lives, and I know that I would not be who I am today if it wasn't for FFA and all of the incredible people in this organization that kind of see something in us and choose to pour into us and choose to get down on our level. Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's pretty cool. And just being nice and just always being just the role model is always a good thing that I hope that more people get to learn. And I'm so excited for this school year. This is it's going to be a great year. I can already,
Yes.
we're 3 weeks, 4 weeks in. I'm
Mhm.
already excited for all the things we get to do in FFA. And just having these, because having amazing people that build us up, like our officers, um, like our advisors, just having these people, our friends, our family, all these people that bring us up can get us to be where you are right now. So it's always good to just treat everyone with respect
Mhm.
because you don't know that that person that you're talking to is going to be the reason why you're being interviewed on live television.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to,
That's that's right.
and that's just important. And do you think that you can really think of a time that your life kind of went on a turning point? At least, not necessarily FFA, but just if you didn't, it was kind of like a fork in the road, and that you feel like you chose the right path and you are down this road because you made that right decision.
Mm. Yes. There are so many times like that, and there's probably times where I've been no, there's not probably. There have been times where I've been at a fork in the road, and maybe made the wrong decision. But I'd say for sure one time that I made the right decision was honestly, as funny and cringy as it may sound, truly the decision to come to Locust Trace. Um, Heading into my freshman year of high school, I was at this crossroads of do I continue with orchestra and the arts like everybody else in my family has done? Or do I go this other route that's scary, that's intimidating, that is unknown, but could be something that would be for Caroline? Um, and, a lot of thought and prayer and conversation went into that decision, but I mean, I never would have changed it ever, ever. The decision to come to Locust Trace, it gave me community that you're experiencing right now, mentors that I'll have for the rest of my life, and opportunities that I think will serve me for a lifetime. And there's been so many other situations like that, and I think I'm approaching another fork in the road where I'm deciding what I'm going to major in and where I'm going to work after I graduate. But those forks in the road are intimidating and a little scary, but I think that the forks in the road are what shape us, and it's the decisions that we get to choose that kind of determine our future, and that's exciting.
Yeah, and we don't do things because they're easy. We do things because they're
Hmm.
hard. Because if you do
Yes.
something that's easy, it's not going to feel as rewarding. So just going on to do whatever, like volunteering for this scary thing at Bywater Farms, volunteering to be the person that does the impromptu speech, doing creed speaking, just doing whatever may have you, because it's the hard thing, is going to make such a much more profound impact on your life than if you were to just be like, oh, someone else can do that, or oh, I'm nervous, I can't do that,
Mm,
and just
yeah.
being able to raise your hand and be like, I'd like to do that.
Yes. Being willing to say yes to things that scare you will serve you for a lifetime.
Yes.
I had a CEO of a company this year. He was meeting with us and our whole team. It was really cool. And I'll never forget one thing he said was, Caroline, if the opportunity doesn't scare you, it's not big enough.
Hmm.
If the opportunity doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. And I was like, huh. I never heard it put that way, but very smart.
Yeah, and just we I think it's good to chase the thing that scares us. It
Hmm.
just because and accepting losses as they come, like for you, accepting that they weren't president your senior year, and just
Yeah.
accepting that I'm not. This is. I think I'm one step back for now, but you're going to be 35 steps forward in a few years, and
Hmm.
who knows if you didn't heed Miss Meyer's advice. She's got a
Yes.
lot of it.
She does. Um, my dad likes to say every setback is a set up for a comeback. And I think that's true. When we
Those are words to live
experience,
by.
they are, when we experience what we see as failures, which I don't believe in failures. I think we learn. Um, we don't fail. We learn from those mistakes. And we grow from them and we get better because of them. But I think we experience setbacks so our comeback can be even better.
Right. And this is a very interesting story, but about mistakes. But in third grade, one of my art teachers, she was talking about how mistakes in art can be fixed, but sometimes they can lead to great things. And
Mhm.
and this sounds very prophetic. This sounds like it's from a fairy tale. But as she was talking about this, she had the sink running, and she accidentally knocked paper towels into it and got all those paper towels wet. She was kind of a bit frustrated, but whatever. And this gave her an idea that instead of using Kleenex, she could just wet the paper towels and use those to clean the tables after the art project. And I have come to find that she in fact still wets her paper towels in order to clean them. So who knows?
There you go.
The
Those funny mistakes sometimes can lead to the perfect moments.
right.
Hmm.
And I think that's pretty cool. Just being able to learn one of the best skills you can have
Yes.
in any part of life. You never truly know everything. We wish we
Yes.
knew everything.
That is very true. Very true. Being a lifelong learner is important.
Having that growth mindset, I and
Yes.
if what do you think has been like the most impactful workshop you've ever attended ever?
Mm, most impactful workshop. Let's see. I attended a storytelling workshop, um, which you wouldn't think, like storytelling, how impactful that would be. But truly, the art of storytelling is crucial. I think to be a good conversationalist, to be a good speaker, to be a good host, it's important to be a good storyteller. And I think even just in our daily lives, being a good storyteller is so important because people relate to stories. Like that's how I learn best. Is I mean, when people tell you stories about how they failed and learned from it, like that's a story that you're learning from. And I think that that tool was very helpful. And it was from a guy, the guy facilitating the workshop. His name was Reagan Pugh. He's actually an author and has written some great books. One that's called Too Emotional. He's just a really cool guy. Has even done a TED talk. So if you're bored, look up Reagan Pugh. But the art of storytelling, that was the most impactful because he got really vulnerable with us and just um, was sharing that like the best way to connect with people is to be vulnerable and tell your story, and I'll never forget that.
Right. And people will always find it easier when it's not just a talking head talking about whatever, when it's an actual brought down to earth thing of just talking like you're a normal human. Because at the end of the day, we're all human. I guess the lesson from today's little interview is we're all human.
Yes, I love that being the lesson. I love that being the lesson because I am such a perfectionist, and that is a lesson that I have had to learn is, I make mistakes. I make mistakes every single day, and that's okay because we're all human, and that's how we're supposed to be. We're not supposed to be perfect.
Perfection is a process, not a result.
Yes, love the quote.
Yes, it's and the final question, I guess, to wrap things all together is that what this is kind of hard to put into words. Why is FFA important to you?
Mhm. There are an abundance of reasons why FFA is important to me, but I think the number one reason why FFA is important to me is because FFA gave me a seat at the table, and FFA has helped me build my table that I can give other people seats at. And I'll kind of explain that because that's kind of an image and not necessarily a point, but um, FFA gave me my community that freshman year of high school, and I felt like I had a seat at the FFA table. And as I've matured and grown and stepped into leadership positions, it has given me the skills and the ability to be able to be the person to bring others in. Um, and I think that's such um, a skill that I didn't recognize as a freshman, the importance of bringing people into your community and building community. Um, but yeah, FFA gave me a table and helped me build my table and is still crowding my table. So I hope that makes sense.
It does, it does.
Okay, good.
Well, thank you
Yes,
for
thank you for
agreeing
having
to
me.
this. Have an amazing day, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day, Connor.
You too.